Good morning. I'm about to go over the worksheet from last night, but before we do that, let's look ahead. On today, which is Wednesday, after I go over the homework, you're going to do the odds from the PowerPoint. Thursday, you're going to do the evens on the practice sheet from the PowerPoint. And then Friday, I'm going to assign you a quiz. So we're moving right along. You guys, of course, know that you can Google Hangout with me. All you have to do is let me know when. I send you an invite. And we can move forward from there. And we're mathing. So for the example 4, you-dos, we have 4x to the 1/7 times 8x to the 2/7. So for a question like that, all you have to do is multiply the coefficients. 4 times 8, that makes 32. And then these are multiplying x's. When you have multiplying x's, all you do is add the exponents. So you're going to have x to the 1/7 plus 2/7. So your final answer for 4a is 32x to the 3/7. Nice and easy. B. For B, we have -5x to the 1/5 times 4x to the 2/5. Again, this is a simple problem. I know they weren't all this simple, but this one still is. So for the coefficients, -5 times 4 is -20. For multiplying x's, you add the powers. So you have x to the 1/5 plus 2/5. And so your final answer for 4b is going to be -20x to the 3/5 power. And that's example 4, problems A and B. Example 5 gets a little bit more complicated. A, we have 32 to the 3/2 over 32 to the 1/10. Okay, now I need to address something here. There's a reason why I can't just divide those 32s and make it a 1. Because if I follow order of operations, it says that exponents have to get done before multiplication or division. So since this 32 has an exponent with it, if I can't evaluate 32 to the 3/2, I can't actually ever do anything with those numbers. So since I can't do anything with those numbers, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to follow my rules of exponents. Well, my rules of exponents say if the bases are the same and they're dividing, you subtract the exponents. So the base will remain 32, but you're going to do 3/2 minus 1/10. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get a common denominator. The common denominator for 2 and 10 is 10. If you want 3/2 to become something over 10, you have to multiply the denominator by 5. But if you multiply the denominator by 5, you have to multiply the numerator by 5. So you get 15/10. So this becomes 32 to the 15/10 minus 1/10, which is 32 to the 14/10. And I noticed when I was checking your guys' homework, a lot of you left it at that. But 14/10 is something that's reducible. And we've spoken about if something can be reduced, we're going to reduce it. 14/10 reduces to 7/5. So this becomes 32 to the 7/5. Now we have to ask ourselves if this is something that's doable. So I think it as a radical, the fifth root of 32 to the seventh. If the fifth root of 32 is something I could do without a calculator, then that's a doable question. And the fifth root of 32 is 2. So this becomes 2 to the seventh. And if you do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, you get 128. So the final answer to this problem was 128. Okay. 5B. Okay, so again, you can't actually multiply the 81s because they have exponents, and exponents have to be done first. So if I can actually do 81 to the 1/2 and 81 to the 1/4, I could do the question right away. So I'm going to show you two ways for this. One way is, let me think of this as the square root of 81 to the first. And let me think of this as the fourth root of 81 to the first. Square root of 81 is 9. We know that. So this is now 9 to the first, which is 9. The fourth root of 81 is 3 to the first. And 3 to the first is 3. So this is really 9 times 3, which is 27. Now, this method didn't work with the last question because in the last question I had numbers that weren't doable like this. So let's pretend these weren't doable and we'll do it using the other method. The other method is treat it like a properties of exponents question. In properties of exponents, if you have the same base and they're multiplying, that means you're supposed to add the powers. So this becomes 81 to the 1/2 plus 1/4. Then you need a common denominator. So you want 1/2 to turn into something with fourths. So if I have, I have to think 2 times what makes 4, and that's 2. But if I multiply by 2 in the denominator, I have to multiply in the numerator, and I get 2. So this becomes 81 to the 2/4 plus 1/4, and that is 81 to the 3/4. And now I have to try and do the question without a calculator. So this means the fourth root of 81 to the third. The fourth root of 81 is 3. So this becomes 3 to the third. And 3 to the third is 27. So you get the same answer whether you do it by evaluating the 81s to the powers first and then multiplying, or using rules of exponents and evaluating at the end. This question had 2 different ways you could do it, which was nice. Moving on to number 6. 6A.